So today I made $14,000 from the market, and the simple trade that I took, I made a video about this yesterday as well. The simple trade that I took was on SPX. I'm gonna make a video again, but this time I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. I'm gonna cover like onions. You know how onion have different layers? We're gonna unwrap multiple different layers so I can show you the price action, because I genuinely feel like just if you understand this strategy, bro, your life trading, everything gonna change so significantly. But for that, you need to learn how to use this strategy. Let's break this down. Let me jump on my charts. This strategy is super simple. It's called basketball strategy. I also call it disco dance strategy. I also call it rug and tuck strategy. There's so many different fucking names, bro, but doesn't really matter. That matters is the price action is everything when you're trading this strategy. A lot of people think that they understand price action, but in reality, they genuinely do not. Because if you understand price action, you'll be able to understand this concept of this. Once you understand this concept of basketball strategy, I consider this as like a free money. Now, of course, nothing is free. There's risk that you take. Once you understand the risk that you are taking, actually, everything becomes way more easier. Now, what's basketball strategy? Let me break it down layer by layer. For basketball strategy to work, you need to be on multiple different time frames. The first thing that you need is time frames. That means I use 2-minute chart for first 30 minutes of the market open. I use 5-minute charts for next 60 minutes of the market open. Then I use 10-minute chart for rest of the day. That means from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, I'm using 2-minute chart. From 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I'm using 5-minute chart. And rest of the day, I'm using 10-minute chart. That's just one part of the thing. For basketball strategy, I mostly feel comfortable when I'm trading on a 5-minute chart. This is just my personal opinion. Of course, I use all different these things, but I also, whenever I'm basketball strategy, man, even if it's on a 2-minute, 10-minute, I'm also keeping an eye on a 5-minute chart as well, because it's just my favorite, time frame out there. The time frames are done. Now get to the juicy bits. There's a thing called dynamite levels. Now, what are dynamite levels? Dynamite levels are the levels where the price action can explode. That's why it's called dynamite levels. Every stock, doesn't matter what stock you're trading, and this strategy only works, by the way, on SPX or SPY, but you have to have SPX, SPY, QQQs all have to align on top of each other. But now, dynamite levels are the levels where the prices can explode. There's two different type of dynamite levels. One is repetitive numbers. That means 111, 222, 333, 444, 6666, whatever. But the zones, these becomes the zones. 111 all the way to 111.11, 222 all the way to 222.22. That means those becomes a little zones that we have. You understand what I'm saying? Those becomes the zone. And this is one type of dynamite level. These are called repetitive algorithmic levels, because algorithms love them. And then the second type of dynamite levels of every $50 move. That means, for example, in this case, we'll use the example of, let's say, 6,800, 6,850, 6,900, 6,950, or 400, 450, 500, all these, okay? All these are dynamite levels as well. Once you have identified this, by the way, this, as I said, this works basketball strategy because we are sticking to basketball. I'm just going to explain this. Let's say we pick up the 6,850 level, okay? Now what you need to do is you need to mark as a zone. Why? Because you gotta think of like basketball going on the court, bouncing. The court has to have certain sort of parameters in order for it to actually become a court. It's not just like a concrete court. It's a wooden court, but it has to have some sort of like a little stage to it, like a little bit raised from the ground. So a little bit raised means it's a little bit thick. That's why this is a little bit thicker. Only for SPX, sorry. I'm not talking about anything else. That means if you're watching 6850, the stage that we have, or the little thickness of this, is +2 or -2. What does that mean? That means I'm watching from 6850 to 6848. This is the zone that I'm watching when I'm trading this. All right. Now the second or the third, or actually fourth. First one was the time frames. Second one was dynamite levels. Third is the stage that we spoke about. The fourth thing is move how much. Let's say if you're bouncing the basketball from literally so low right here, will it make a big bounce? It'll make it a little bounce. If you're bouncing the ball from here, it'll make a little bit bigger bounce. If you're bouncing the ball from here, it'll make even a bigger bounce comparatively. You understand what I'm saying? The basketball strategy works the best if you have at least a $15 move. All right? You understand what I'm saying? And then comes the last point, which is the sexiest and the most important. You always want to pay attention to the first touch. The first touch of the day on their level. That means the first dribble is what we're looking at. The first ball, that's it. Second time it goes, third time it goes, we are not interested. It works both ways, upside or downside. You understand? For example, now, what would this mean? Let's say if the prices are coming from 68.34 all the way, $15 away from the dynamite, all the way slowly getting up, and then gets in your zone. This is the zone that you're watching. This becomes 3 entries that we're going to watch. Boom, boom, boom. 3 entries. The first entry is going to be as soon as it gets in the zone. Second is going to be around the dynamite level that we are watching, 68.50. Third one is going to be somewhere from this point to that point, because the stop loss is sitting sitting on the other side. All right. So yesterday I took this play and it absolutely freaking printed. I mean, just check this out. This is the trade from yesterday. What happened? Prices got into my zone the first time. I shorted. All right. I literally bought some puts. Second time, I bought some puts. Third time, got super close to my level because this is divided into 3 different categories. As you can see, this is the little thing that we are watching. This is the middle line that we have running in the middle. Right here, as you can see, we will just make it straight line, and it got above this zone. Boom. Now what I'm watching, I shorted right here within this zone and made a huge move towards the downside, printed. But today the market opened, all right, the dynamite levels marked, prices slowly started pushing towards the upside. I got in because I had to do what I do. And then I actually, hey, just check this out, bro. We called out the exact trade in the chat. I sent a screenshot. I'm like, okay, prices are getting into the zone. This is what we're watching. And I did my full thoughts, what I'm watching on SPX, literally explained my full thoughts on SPX. Then I sent another one. I'm like, looks good. Let's see how this goes. Quick scalp. But this is what's happening. And this is what's happening right now on the chart. 5-minute chart. As I said, I'm on a 5-minute chart, even though I should be on 10-minute chart, but I'm watching 5-minute chart. And then what happened? Full walkthrough. And I explained the reasons. What are we looking for? I said I'm not very confident in this chart. Not gonna lie. Only way I would be confident is if the next 5-minute candle tries to break the lows of the candle, which is a doji candle. And then this is how it went. And then it made a huge move towards the downside. At the same time, we were also looking at QQQs because QQQs had a 200 moving average sitting right there. So I was like, okay, if 200 moving average on 5-minute chart on QQQs breaks towards the downside, it can move up, move down. And on SPY, because they all kind of work together with each other, SPY had 200 moving average sitting here. So I'm like, if this QQQ's 200 moving average was roughly here, if this breaks, I can catch this move. Super nice. That becomes just like high probability, high conviction play. And it made a very nice move, like a $20 reject that you caught. And we caught this reject all the way to the profit target and we exited. It was 120% trade. Now 120% trade simply means if you had $1,000 position size, your 1,000 turned into 2,200, that means a $1,200 profit. Now is that good? I consider it good, but you need to know what's the risk. The risk is literally on the other side of this. That means I'm risking, like now, I'm risking this little for this big of a reward. Does the risk to reward make sense? Yes. If I take this trade over and over again, will it work? Yes, because this strategy literally has like a 9 out of 10 times. Pretty good. Anyway. Now comes would you be able to ask yourself in the real time, while you're in the trade, understand the conviction why you're taking this trade? Because the conviction is everything. If you do not have conviction that it can go, everything becomes shady. I had a conviction. The conviction from me comes from my backtest. I backtest this strategy a lot. I actually backtest so much that I know how to execute these type of trades. Look at this. It went big time down. Or it works from the downside as well. Look at this. It bounced big time. Made a big move towards the upside. You understand what I'm saying? It works both ways. Sometimes it's just a quick scalp. Sometimes it makes a nice move. For example, right here. But now you need to understand the conviction only going to come from if you understand the whole concept behind it. Like what I said, first reject of the day is what we're looking for. And the second time we did, bro, I'm not interested. The first one is the only thing that I'm interested in. Once you get the conviction behind it, the conviction only comes from when you have a backtested strategy, backtested results staring at your face like, oh, that's why we're trading it. Now, I have backtested over 30,000 times. I know exactly how the systems work, how they don't work, the things that we are looking for, the things that we are not looking for. But a lot of people do not have backtest. And I promise you this, over time I've learned more that you backtest, more that you look at these stuffs, more that you actually manually one by one look at the charts, everything going to become more and more easier day by day. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, you can come and trade live with me every single day if you want. Check the first link in the description box below and let's change your game, bro. All I'll say, I won't waste too much of your time. I hope that you found this video helpful, and check the first link in the description box below, and I'll see you later.